Once upon a time, a little girl was playing in the forest when a pixie appeared. Curious, the little girl followed the pixie toward an abandoned castle. As they approached, the pixie explained that the castle was once the home of a young, beautiful princess, but an evil curse had been cast upon it. To return the castle to its former glory, a very special girl would have to undertake an enchanted journey across magical lands, helping princesses in need. By helping these princesses, the spell would be broken and the castle would be beautiful once more. And now, the story begins.
Hello, welcome to Disney Princess Enchanted Journey. I have Power Dork here with me.
Hello.
Wow.
And we're going to make our own Disney princess.
Wait, don't
I can't wait.
I don't think so.
I already recorded this, so you're just going to have to live with the design I picked out.
Enter your name here.
I'm sure it's absolutely fantastic.
I tried my best with the options they gave me.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad you
So something I notice about these games for young girls under 12, is that they emphasize how special and pretty the girl is. And I don't remember that happening when I was little and played games where boys were the protagonists.
This is where you can come.
Do you think that's...
Of course not.
Change your dress, your hairstyle.
That seems a little patronizing to me, but do you think it actually works on the girls that this is targeted toward?
Works in what way?
Well, I feel like I wouldn't notice,
Oh,
is what I'm saying.
pretty on you. Thanks. Is there any
I'm sure it imposes some standards that, some values that,
I'll be here to save your adventure. So whenever you see this icon, it means your adventure is being...
I mean, aside from the unfortunate implications of constantly telling girls they have to be pretty, I'm asking, do you think it had the intended function
Magic wand.
of making the girl playing it feel special by directly telling them they're special?
It's beautiful.
oh, I'm
This wand has very
heavily
special
doubtful.
powers and will help
Yeah,
you
see,
on
I
your
was
journey.
thinking that
Let's go to the throne room, and
I
I'll show you
definitely
how
don't
to
think I would have
use the
noticed.
magical
I was not a little girl, but I don't think I would have noticed because I would have been thinking of the character as a character. But you're supposed to dress her up and name her after yourself and things.
While you're on your journey, you'll come across lots
I was always curious whether that actually worked, whether constantly referring to the main self-insert character as special and unique actually made people feel special and unique, but you can't really ask children because I don't have those handy.
Been forced to cause mischief, and only your
Ah, yeah.
butterflies free.
Do you have any children lying around to ask?
How does it work? Well, there are two ways to
If you'd asked me
You can
10 years
cast
ago,
magic from your wand, or cover a whole area with magic. Do you want to
Preferably
skip the
little
lesson?
children who identify as girls.
yeah, I had a sister about 10 years ago. She would have been this age to play this.
Okay, well, when we get the time machine working, I need you to ask if this even registers, because I get the impression, from what I know on human psychology,
This
that it would just fly right over their heads, that they wouldn't even care.
greatest secrets lie. It may look old and dusty, but if you use your wand on those controls in the middle of the room,
So you may notice the artistic direction and music in this game is shockingly good for what this is.
Yeah, what year was this released?
2007, because this is a Nintendo Wii game.
Right. Oh yeah, that's some sound direction.
guess this thing hasn't been used in a while.
I mean, considering how quickly they probably had to get it out, it has some very nice graphics for the Wii in particular. There are a lot of ugly Wii games.
You don't need to tell me.
Yeah, Mr. B movie.
Well, here we are. Go ahead and look around. These are secret portals to the worlds of the princesses.
So, are you familiar with Kingdom Hearts?
I am... Oh boy, Kingdom Hearts. I've only seen Let's Plays.
So, are you familiar with the basic concept of Kingdom Hearts, where you travel to different Disney worlds?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, this is like that, except we're a self-insert Disney princess.
And not a Final Fantasy character.
Yes.
The sign will tell you if that world is easy, medium, or hard.
Right here, the little pixie is explaining that the worlds have different difficulty levels. This is a lie. They do have different difficulty levels listed next to their portraits, but none of them are more difficult than the other.
Oh, so anyone could start with the tough one.
Yeah, which was a mistake, because we're starting with the hardest one, and it's the worst one.
Oh, of course.
It's not the worst because it's the hardest, but it's the worst because there are cutscenes every 5 seconds.
Oh. And now, it's been a couple years since I've seen the Kingdom Hearts Let's Play. Is that more or less than, that?
It's much more than Kingdom Hearts. There are a lot of cutscenes in the beginning, but there's a lot of level in Kingdom Hearts. There's, like, gameplay in it. And Kingdom Hearts also understood that people could talk without them being in a cutscene. Like, you can talk outside of cutscenes.
Right.
Disney Princess Enchanted Journey doesn't get that. If someone's talking, it has to take control from you, and it has to be during a cutscene.
Right.
Oh no! It looks like colors
So,
taken from
each Disney Princess world has its own little gimmick. This one is color, but from now on, I'm gonna let you guess what the gimmicks are before we enter the world.
Alright, I see. So, the color has been stolen, but only from particular objects.
Yes, because it would take far too much effort to do it the right way.
Yeah. We don't want to ask too much of,
Papaya Studios. But, I mean, I would understand if they justified it by saying the color was only stolen from specific objects. But they specifically say the color was stolen from everything, and it clearly hasn't been.
Also... Well, no, not even important objects. A bush? A rock?
It's a very ideal bush. It represents the ideal that all bushes should strive to be.
Oh no, the reference bush.
So you may have noticed that the bog locked the bog are those little creatures, by the way, the evil creatures. The bog locked the gate, but it was already locked before, and I tried using my magic on it before. But now the magic works, and it didn't before for some reason.
I suppose it's all intent-based?
I intended for the gate to unlock.
Right, but nobody else intended for the gate to lock, even though there was a lock on it.
But the green dark magic was around it.
Huh. Okay, I've got nothing.
I love how there's a splash screen for every single environment, even outside and inside the cottage. Gotta get a big panning shot. So this game is co-op, and if you play it in co-op, whenever your character is talking to someone, the second player is just standing in the background staring.
You should have shown us.
I thought about it, but I didn't want to make my brother play this anymore. But yeah, you see the door back there? The second player just stands back there. Just staring.
To be fair, so would I.
They're just a carbon copy of the first player, too. They don't get to choose their own dress or name or anything.
A shadow clone?
You're a +1, an extra. Oh no, we gotta recolor the uncoloreds. What really irritates me about this gimmick is that they really oversell it. The pixie says, it's like this whole world is a canvas for you to paint, but that's not even... You just flick your wand at things that are missing color and the color comes back.
Oh, there is so much green.
Also, you'll notice the colors are very flat and they look disgusting on the models.
No, that's wholly right too.
Like, that bucket should not be that shade of red, but it is that shade of red.
No, it's FF0000, right?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, because they know how to model more complex colors, maybe they could have just done that instead. Because they look better in black and white than they do with colors on them.
You should steal all the color.
That's what the bad person is doing. So I'm not gonna let you watch me fill in the color of everything. I'm sorry if you wanted to see all that, but I'm not gonna let you watch me fill in the color of every single object. So after we fill in the red objects, we're gonna skip to the end of this little section. Hey, look! This actually looks really cool. It's a shame you can't do anything like this yourself. It has to be during a cutscene.
Yeah.
So, this is supposed to be the hardest world. You may figure they introduce things like mixing the colors, like mixing red, green, and blue together to make more complex colors, or test your knowledge of how colors work, or something educational or interesting with the mechanics, right?
Of course not.
No. It's just red, blue, and green, and you change your color to the right color, and then you hit the thing that needs the right color. That's it. Oh, also, I figure out halfway through this video that there are subtitles.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Yeah, so that way you can actually hear what they're saying. The reason I found out there were subtitles is because even while playing, I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Oh boy. Audio balance.
I didn't want to turn down the music because the music is my favorite part, and I couldn't turn the voices up any higher. The game asks you to do a lot of walking around large empty areas to get from one place to another, and the environments, as you're seeing right here, they don't look bad. They look pretty nice, but you have to cross over them several times because game padding.
And that comes with a lot of loading, as we just saw.
Yeah. So I'm going to be cutting out any backtracking or padding that the game insists to have by walking. This video was originally much longer because of all the padding.
Well, I thank you for saving us from walking.
Walking is an inconvenience in a lot of ways. So these little bog creatures, they chase you around and try and shoot you with dark magic.
But they're just kind of bad at it.
Yeah, they're really bad at everything. You can run past most of them. It's not until they introduce more complex ones that it gets actually hard to just run past them.
Ones that don't aim and have a cast time.
Yeah, ones that don't aim where you were. You would have to stand still to get hit by them, and this game is too complicated for anyone who would actually get hit by those. Like, you'd have to be a toddler, and a toddler couldn't play this because there's too much going on for a toddler.
Hello there, ma'am.
Oh no, those eyes.
They look fine.
No, they're not going anywhere. They're looking straight forward.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He is just so out of it right now. He went walking the wrong direction. I don't think he's okay. I think he may be on something, and we need to get him some intervention. So
I think he's had a bit too much color.
I think the NPCs get stuck a lot on the environment, but I never stop to look because I always run ahead of them.
Well, hello there, my dear. I'm Doc.
It's okay, he teleported in here. He's looking at the ceiling now. He's way out of it. He is so gone. They're all looking at the ceiling. They're like barely tethered to this reality. They look like I looked when I had my spinal fluid ripped out.
Oof.
Grumpy, Dopey, and Happy need your help to work together again. They'll show you a work pattern.
So have you ever played Simon Says?
Repeat the pattern by pointing the Wii remote
Once. Ever.
I have never played Simon Says except in video game form.
Have you ever played Simon, the electronic version?
Yes. That offers a lot more entertainment value than this does.
Yes.
So there's supposed to be 5 increasingly difficult patterns to this, and you have to click on them in the right order, because it's like Simon Says, you know, right, left.
Yeah.
But all 5...
And
what were you saying?
the pattern gets built on at the end, right?
Well, the thing about that is that they only ever ask you to remember 3 inputs. They only ever ask you to remember 3 inputs. They never go to 4. That's just too strong. See, here's round 5, the final round. Let's see what they got. Up. Left. Right. That's a doozy. That's a doozy.
I can only imagine how well children could perform the mini games in, for instance, Patapon.
I mean, I think Patapon is a little difficult for children.
A steady beat. Help Happy.
No, it's dead simple. Once you know roughly how it works.
Yeah, but the tutorial could be better at teaching you how it works.
This is true.
I mean, if I understood what to watch for, I would have had a much easier time playing
You'll have
Patapon.
to alternate pointing at each dwarf until you've filled up the game bar.
Okay,
I don't disagree.
this is one of the only times co-op actually helps. We have to alternate between clicking on Happy and Grumpy, but if you're playing 2-player, you each get a dwarf, so you can just mash the A button.
Without aiming?
Yeah, this is the only instance I've found where co-op is helpful. Because in every other minigame, you just have to do the minigame twice. Once as player 1 and once as player 2.
And that's not at the same time, but in order, right?
Right, not at the same time. You have to take turns.
Now, man, could you help Doc and Dopey work together too?
So most of the time they specifically tell you where to go, which is good, because even if you're not a child, it's frustrating to not know where to go, and you don't want to spend extra time just wandering around, but they didn't this time. They didn't tell you to go outside. They're just like, hey, help Doc and Dopey. And everybody teleports outside.
You've been such a help. We were hoping you could help us gather the gems now.
Of course. What would you like me to do?
So the explanation behind them being too stupid to work together is that the colors disappearing made them feel weird?
Could you help him gather the gems into his bucket?
Yeah, that would explain all their weird behavior.
Work together
I'm not
to
sure
get
how
the
that's
gems.
related to
They'll
their
use your
behavior
rope.
in any way.
Doc will toss different stones down the slots,
Like,
and you can
if
help
if
Dopey
color
catch them.
disappeared from a
Out of
few
the
objects
stone
in my
gems,
environment, it might
help
be
Dopey collect
it might be a
only
little
the stuff
disturbing,
needed
but I don't
and
think it
avoid
would
the
prevent me
rocks.
from using my
And
basic
the
cognitive
advantage will add
functions.
a little bit to your game bar, but every rock that lands in your basket will decrease it. Good
It
luck.
apparently decreased their intelligence to such an amount that they can no longer tell colors apart or in which order they should be hitting rocks.
Help Dopey catch the blue gem.
Oh.
So, you played the B-movie game. You remember the physics when you had to catch the honeycombs? I also want to point out that the idea is to catch the gems and avoid the rocks, but why can't Grumpy just throw only the gems instead of throwing the rocks down too? Like,
Well, it's a matter of the rocks are vaguely gem-shaped.
But they're colored very differently. I mean, Grumpy's just throwing stuff down at us.
No, everybody's colorblind now.
He's just throwing stuff down at us. Also, we lose points when the gems don't hit the basket. Why can't we just pick them up off the ground? When they hit the ground, are they soiled?
We couldn't have done it without you. Ain't that
Aren't we on the edge of a cliff?
don't know?
Yeah, but I guess that depends how much tumble the gems have to them.
Well, whatever it
Plenty, judging by the physics.
Judging by the physics, they gave them real physics.
always get our work done.
But yeah, I guess everybody is colorblind, so that's at least one excuse that they have. Hooray, chapter 1 of 3. We're gonna go to chapter 2 now. We're shotgunning all the chapters of this world.
Oh boy, more dwarves.
More dwarves. Oh, by the way, the pixie calls them dwarfs. The pixie calls
More
them...
dwarfs.
Yeah, dwarfs, for some reason, instead of dwarves. It's not established in universe whether we're going into worlds that are inside paintings, like in Mario, or whether the paintings are transporting us to another dimension.
Yes,
It's all an illusion.
you have to sort the gems by color. Just don't know what's gotten into these things.
And hear them mumbling to each other in their insanity. So do you remember that last minigame?
Yeah.
How would you like to do it again, but a little bit more complicated?
Hello, my dear. Seems we're behind.
Fair.
Dopey keeps making mistakes.
With the same fit. I love the way I love the way Doc talks to Dopey like he's an idiot. Like, we walk up to Doc and ask how we can help, and Doc says, well, Dopey keeps making mistakes. It's all on Dopey. Not my fault at all. Dopey's just a moron.
Doc will toss
Well, Dopey's earned the nickname Dopey, right?
Yes.
left and right to guide them into the right.
What does Dopey do? What does he add to the team?
Sorting today, so he'll need your help. Each correctly sorted
Comic relief?
What's funny about Dopey?
different gems to sort, but I know
You're right.
So this is basically the same, except instead of moving the cart, we have to move the slope. And we have to get the right color gem in the cart. The physics are still here. The physics didn't leave. You might figure because you have to move the thing that the gems are tumbling on, they might remove the physics. But no.
No. Now, can you lose gems between the carts?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes gems will bounce outside of the carts even after they went in them.
Well, fair play. Oh!
That was a trick shot right there. That took skill. You know, why can't Doc up there just yell down what color he's... Wait, they're colorblind, right? Wait, if he's colorblind, why is he blaming this all on Dopey? It's equally his fault.
Well, everybody's got an ego, right?
Yes. I mean, I don't know. These are the 7 dwarves. They have one characteristic each.
So, okay, this is bringing us to something I've been meaning to ask. What does it mean to be a dwarf?
Gosh,
From what I can tell, you have to wear a hat like that. That's all you gotta do.
oh, that's grand. Now,
Oh, yeah.
home before we
Everybody has one of those hats that look vaguely like the nipple of a baby bottle.
The dwarfs are working together. Return to the cottage. Go back to the cottage.
Thank you for telling me about that.
The game's like, walk all the way back to the cottage now. It can't teleport you there because that would reduce the game padding.
Oh, hello. I'm so glad you've come back.
I love the implication that Snow White just stands in the kitchen not doing anything besides talking to animals all the time.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, animals must have interesting things to say, right?
They must.
I saw it. The forest.
I don't understand why color is the theme of the Snow White world. Why couldn't the theme of the Snow White world be, you know, talking to animals or animal husbandry or
Grown. Don't worry. I'll get
something
the
related to
magic
Snow White?
wand to make things right.
Well, white color.
I think you're stretching it a bit.
The grove is to the right.
No, yeah.
She's called Snow White because she's white.
The missing
Like her skin is white.
way to the grove.
Blindingly pale.
Yes. They toned down her paleness a bit. Oh, I wanted to say something I actually really appreciated about this game. You can change your skin color in the character customizer. But in the opening FMV, when they're showing the girl run around before you've customized her in the FMV, her skin is a very vague shade. Like, it could be any color, roughly. So I'm glad they cared enough to not just make her look white in the opening FMV. Her skin is vaguely brownish. It's also vaguely whitish.
Yeah.
And they were careful...
No,
what were you saying?
it's fair play to them.
Yeah, so they were smart about that. They were careful not to show too much of her body or anything before you actually got there. I'm just showing that you can defeat the bogs in one hit. That's all I was doing there.
But what's the point of it?
There is none. There's also no point to the gems we're collecting. Those don't do anything.
Are you... Wow. Oh, boy. Wow. What the hell? Oh. Huh? Oh, I see.
So the music in this game, I really like. It's surprisingly haunting
I think you should try
for a Disney princess game.
use the red wand for the red.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's very sinister, and the bogs would probably scare young children.
Use your magic while standing on one of the color swans.
Because they have, you might not be able to see it too well, but they have giant, permanent, creepy smiles on their face at all times.
A color frenzy. Defeat all the bogs by using different
Are they masked?
Yeah. So the gimmick for this is that the bogs can only be defeated by the color that they are. We can only defeat the red bogs with red, the green bogs with green, and the blue bogs with blue.
I'm noticing you're not doing a lot of defeating.
They just take.
Oh, there you go.
They just take more hits because this is a mini boss encounter. There are also some bogs that are shaped like paintbrushes that run around, and if they get their spell off, then it actually robs us of our ability to see color.
Oh, wow. But it as in it's all gray?
Yeah, you'll see right here, actually. Yes.
Oh, I can... You can still kind of distinguish them, but it is a pain, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's a relatively decent way to do difficulty for a world where you're supposed to tell colors apart. You can always defeat them while they're casting, of course, which is easy because they take so long to cast. The way their eyes waddle around is really weird.
Yeah.
But the combat is as such. We have a charge spell we can use by wiggling the wand above our head and then bringing it down like the mighty Thor's hammer, which is that area of effect spell I keep doing. We have a little fancy magical Disney princess twirl, which is hard to hit anything with, and we can just shoot projectiles. Most of the time you're going to see me doing the charge spell.
Yeah, the projectile spam is a little bit grating.
Dwing, dwing, dwing. It's the least orally it's the least offensive to your ears. The area of effect one. Maybe this is why this one was supposed to be harder, but I don't know. Because there's other combat sections in the other worlds that are, I would call, more difficult than this one. Yeah, the enemies don't spawn as much in the other worlds, but they also hurt you in the other worlds. You can see here I can't hit anything with the twirl. So our only real offensive options are the really annoying projectile sound or the area of effect attack. Can Could you imagine being so angry that you had to walk hunched over like that all the time?
Maybe Snow White knew I need your help
Oh, dwarves. What an existence they lead.
from the animals.
Also, the shape of Angry's head is a little... I'm sorry, Grumpy's head is a little weird.
You remember?
No, that's just a dwarf trait, isn't it?
Having your head shaped like that?
Them mushrooms and butterflies.
We'll have to pay closer attention.
So, we have to recolor stuff again. It's exactly the same as when we did it in the cottage, so I'm not going to let you watch the whole thing.
Color the grove. Paint the objects
Right.
that are missing color.
It's exactly the same as it was back at the cottage. It's just this time we're painting different objects. This time we're painting butterflies and that rock had some physics on it, oh boy.
I would have expected those butterflies to be blue. Can you just paint stuff the wrong color?
You can, but there's no penalty for it. You just have to repaint them later.
Oh.
You know, you can't have creativity. It won't let you paint them what you want to.
And that had a palette of colors.
Do you think Snow White ever gets tired of having animals magnetically attached to her at all times?
Chasing away those mischievous creatures. And
No, I'm sure it makes her feel powerful.
I like how the raccoons have a Nintendo 64 face unapologetically. Look at their faces.
Those are the faces of friends.
They look happy. So, something very nice about this game's artistic direction and consistency is whenever a chapter begins or ends, the camera pans upward every time. And that's actually quite nice. It pans upward, there are fireworks, and you see a little chapter end, or chapter start. And while that's a nice bit of artistic direction for this first world, I was always begging for the camera to pan upward so the chapter would be over. I was actively looking for the camera to pan up because I wanted it to stop.
Yeah, I can see it.
The rest of the worlds are actually much better, but this one in particular is just draining because there's so much talking. They talk so much.
That's the difficulty.
Yeah, see, that must be why this is the hardest one.
oh, thank goodness you're here. Something very sad has happened. Those strange creatures have taken the colors from the
Oh no, the rainbow colors are gone. Okay, so PD, how many colors are in the rainbow?
6?
3. It's 3 colors.
Oh no.
It's blue, red, and green. Those are the rainbow colors.
My friends have gone to
Physics?
school.
Yeah,
You'll see the
I tried to point out the physics earlier. They're physics.
I'll go see if I
No, I mean the physics of light and color in cartoon.
Oh,
land.
you're talking about the physics of how rainbows work. I don't believe the developers of this video game knew how rainbows worked. I don't believe that. I don't trust.
Visible light spectrum.
I like that the rainbow is just a white beam.
It's the fairest of them all.
Oh my, well, we sure are glad to see
The wider you are, the fairer you are.
somebody stole the rainbow.
No, that is literally what it meant, right?
I think so, but you know what? I'll watch it after this video and let you know.
Grumpy, why look around? Everything's dull and gray.
I mean, it probably wasn't intended to sound that way because of when it came out, but you know.
We gotta color the rainbow. Color the rainbow. How are we gonna do that?
So, remember how I said the game makes you do a lot of walking to places you've already been to pad the game length?
Bring them back here.
Mm-hmm.
This entire chapter is just visiting all the places you've already been and then coming back to the rainbow.
Oh, that sounds exhausting.
It is very tiring. We have to go to the mines, the cottage, sorry, not the cottage, the mines, the forest, and the grove, and then come back to the rainbow.
each other.
So we just have to run all the way around the map again. I'm sorry, Grumpy, what? I can't quite hear you.
Colorless rainbow. Get back all the colors of the rainbow.
This chapter is the one where I turn on the subtitles, so on every video from now on, we're going to have subtitles so you can actually hear what they're saying. I mean, actually understand what they're saying, not hear it.
Well, that's a relief.
It's a good thing they don't say anything important in this world. So we just have to find the, what do they call these in Fantasy Dorkland? We just have to find the fountains of mana and bring them back to the rainbow.
And the princess sent me to tell you there's some
Mana
powerful
plumes.
blue magic in the forest. And maybe that's where you can find the color blue.
You can count on me.
God, you can find the color blue on his pants.
He doesn't know it's there, remember? Everybody's colorblind. Why is Doc standing there watching them do this? He's just standing there in the background watching this happen. We do have a health bar. I don't get hit once in this entire game, so I don't know what the hitting animation looks like.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, all that's left is green. Dopey saw some mighty green over.
Hey Doc, do you know your glasses are opaque?
I'm on my way.
Hey, Doc, do you know your glasses run sideways?
His eyes just used to be further apart, and they slowly drifted together, and he's too poor to get them fixed. Hey look, it's me turning on the subtitles. Because I couldn't hear anything. So now
So,
Yes.
I'm noticing there's a counter for gems.
Yes, we have around 300 or 400 by the end. Not of this world, but the end of the game.
And is it just a score?
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. See, the second chapter of this world was actually mildly interesting and challenging because of all the enemies spawning in the grove. And you having to defeat them with the same color that they are. But this chapter is just walk everywhere you've already been. That's what this chapter is.
Ah, delightful.
This is the worst world out of all of them. And I did it first because the game said it was the hardest.
See, you found the green. Suppose that'll help. I'm warning you. You better get
See, now we can actually see what he's saying.
or something else gets broke.
They bothered to incorporate his accent into the subtitles.
Decent, decent. I just realized his speaking animation is 2 seconds long.
Yeah. It also looks like he's chewing tobacco at all times.
Now all you gotta do is use your magic. Magic.
They even bothered to subtitle the stuff that doesn't matter.
Just fine.
Do you think they just punched the script they fed the voice actors in?
I hope so. I hope that's exactly what this is. But hey, the end result is that it's very accurate, so that's what matters.
Oh, it was easy with such good friends.
So the moral of this entire world seems to be working is easier with friends, but they say it's always easier with friends. Now I agree, sometimes working is easier with friends, but always?
There are still others who need your help.
Always? I don't think that's a good lesson to teach anyone.
I'd like that very much.
Like, could you imagine intruding on someone's professional workspace because they're your friend? Like, excuse me, I know you've got a thing going here, but Disney Princess Enchanted Journey told me to help. And we're done.
Oh.